Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Michael Jacobson. I'm President and CEO of the Arlington Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the 2016-17 Arlington Independent School District's annual State of the District Luncheon. I am honored to kick off this great event. Dr. Cavazos, there's Dr. Cavazos. If you wonder if the business and greater community in Arlington is passionate about AISD, just look around this packed room. I'm proud to say that not only are we sold out, good news, bad news, we had a waiting list of people trying to get in the door. Just awesome. The attendance in this room, I believe, demonstrates that all of us here in Arlington are proud of your exceptional leadership. Your recognition, though, is not just limited to Arlington. Others are recognizing the district's accomplishments. Dr. Cavazos, congratulations on being selected as Superintendent of the Year in Region 11. We are really honored to have you here in Arlington. Just as we have a tremendous superintendent, we have an equally fabulous Board of Trustees. Thank you all for your exceptional leadership. We all appreciate so much your dedication and your commitment to developing the future of Arlington. We thank all of the teachers and administrators and other personnel for being here today. Your attendance reflects the importance you place on the advancement of education in Arlington. In only a few days, I know I hate to say this to the teachers that are in the room, summer is almost over. It'll be back to the classroom. But even with summer ending, you're taking a day of your remaining free days and spending it with us. We appreciate everything you do for Arlington. And of course, the room is full of business leaders, and I think, again, we really appreciate our business leaders being here. Our business leaders acknowledge the importance of the Arlington Independent School District's mission, and we anxiously await our future employees. Before we begin, I want to invite the Honor Guard from the Texas 31st Air Force Junior ROTC to present the colors. The cadets representing all Arlington ISD high schools are instructed by Major David T. Gray, United States Air Force, retired. Please rise as they present the colors.
Color guard, halt, left, peace.
We are fortunate to call our great country home, where opportunities have no limits, and with God's blessing, our children are empowered to chart their own beautiful destinies. Let us together recognize our blessings by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
Present arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Right, peace. Forward, arms.
One of the reasons that we're so proud of being sponsors here is because we recognize that there is very little that government does that is more crucial than education. Not only does education help drive our economy, and it's essential to it, but I'm sure Dr. Cavazos will tell you that it's essential to the survival of our democracy. For you cannot have a democracy where citizens rule if you don't have educated citizens. Thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you.
The Arlington Chamber of Commerce is proud to be a partner with the Arlington Independent School District. We've reached a few milestones this year. 2016 represented the 10th anniversary of the AISD Entrepreneurship Program. 3rd through 8th graders participate in the What's Your Big Idea contest. There were close to 1,500 elementary entries and more than 850 junior high entries. Working with Amy Motzenbacher, Craig Wright, and Leslie Johnson from the district, the program has enjoyed significant growth. In fact, this year we had our largest crowd, I think close to 3,000 people, attend the award ceremony at the College Park Center, where we recognized over 1,120 students, their teachers, and principals at the schools providing the greatest support. Pictured here at the event in 2016 are the top 3rd through 8th grade winners and their teachers. Through the Pettinger Foundation, each student received a scholarship. As you can imagine, I am sure the parents were thrilled with the scholarships. The students, I'm sure, liked the scholarship as well, but also the tickets to Six Flags, the tickets to the Ranger games, and other gift cards that were provided to them. The ideas that these kids have are amazing. And one I know the mayor would appreciate. One of the kids came up with a tracker of golf balls. Not how far are you from the green, but where your ball actually landed, which is very important. And also, something that is complicated is a 3D hologram blueprint. The work that these kids do is just amazing. We appreciate the support given by participants and teachers. We wish to thank Butler, Corey, Johns, Bryant, and Little Elementary Schools, and the Nichols, Bailey, and Young Junior High Schools for supporting the curriculum and encouraging the most big idea entries from their students. We invite and challenge all Arlington ISD elementary and junior highs to participate in the program this new school year. We look forward to seeing you all, yes, all schools, at the April 29th ceremony at UTA at College Park Center. In 2016, the Chamber Foundation was proud to award 5 scholarships to exceptional high school students. I believe we have several of those scholarship recipients in the audience. I would ask you to stand so we can applaud you. And their names are on the screen here. So let's. I want to thank Dr. Cavazos and the district for allowing the Chamber of Commerce to participate in a host of programs, ranging from internships, and I'm pleased to say that in the fall we will have over 170 kids in internships in Arlington businesses. We would be remiss if we failed to thank the Chamber volunteers who devote so much of their time in executing first-class programs. The Chamber's Champion Education Committee spends countless hours judging big idea contest entries, scholarship submissions, guest lecturing, and event support. Would committee members please stand and let's give them applause. All right, to kick off the formal part of today's State of the District address, I invite the president of the Arlington Independent School District Board of Trustees, Jamie Sullins, to the podium. As Jamie approaches, we talked about the recognition that Dr. Cavazos received. Just remember, it was just a few years ago that the school board was elected as the best in Texas. So come forward.
Thank you so much, Michael. What a great way to start the school year. When I look around this room, I see so many friends that I've gotten to know individually just on your own connection with public education. This moment, I'm really glad to see this because I have a contact kind of loose, so it looks like I'm winking at you. I am. It is certainly my great honor to stand before you and represent a truly remarkable Board of Trustee and Superintendent team that work so well together, welcome challenges, and achieve concrete results together with you. I assure you that I'm least among them, but I'm your biggest fan. The level of representation here today in this room bears witness to the great importance we all attach to public education. Thank you, Arlington Chamber of Commerce and sponsors, for partnering with us, for being there every step of the way, and for being here today. It is absolutely outstanding to have so many organizations, education leaders, city leaders, county leaders, state, foundation, and business leaders, not only working together in great respect, but working together in great concert. We are grateful and awestruck to live in a community that collectively cares so deeply for the success of our students. It's nothing short of extraordinary. The lucky beneficiaries of your involvement is the 63,000 students that grace our doors, build their futures, and while they're at it, they build ours. The buzz and the enthusiasm, fueled by the early successes of the Achieve Today, Excel Tomorrow strategic plan, will grow for years to come. Together with our partners at the University of Texas at Arlington and Tarrant County College and this chamber, we have had many great conversations about building opportunity. When we combine our individual strengths, we can make Arlington, Texas a education destination that is beyond compare. Over the last several years, as you all know, the district has been undergoing tremendous transformation. I would like to take a moment once again to thank Arlington voters for leaning in and taking time to learn about this vision and overwhelmingly supporting the bond. Without this leap of faith, the future would look much different. Thank you very much. Construction is underway almost every corner of town. I think 90 active construction projects as we speak. Thank you, city and county leaders and Mayor Williams, for your willingness to work together with the district so that the buildings that are being constructed, we will not only meet our teaching and learning goals, but in the process, we can take it a step further and implement a bond that makes sense to the city and county as well. It's easy to get excited. Opportunity is knocking on the door of every student in the AISD with tax-efficient programs that serve them exceptionally well. 3 years ago, not very long ago, 3 years ago, we had 16 career tech programs. Soon, we will have 34. This one initiative will help employers find the talent that you need and will help students to graduate from high school into financial security for a lifetime. What a game changer. These fine programs, though, must meet the outstanding rigor and outcomes that were first set by the AISD and City of Arlington Police and Fire Academies, where high standards were set day one, and students continue to excel to prepare to proudly wear the uniform one day and serve with our city's finest to protect and to serve. We are very proud of our APD, our fire department, and the students that aspire to join your ranks. Now, our district-wide STEM Academy is offering upper division coursework to our students that are ready for the challenge. It takes a minute to let that sink in. These are not rigor-adjusted courses to help high school students get ready to accelerate in university. These are full UTA rigor courses offered in our classrooms. Thank you, Dr. Kabari, and thank you, Dr. Cavazos, for providing this opportunity for our students. You know, and just a few years ago, we wondered how students would fare taking college courses as ninth graders. We knew it would take patience and great support. There was no question about that. The first students that we talked about a few years ago, they're juniors now, and we have the answer to the question that we asked, probably in this room, that these kids, they are not only excelling, they are accelerating, finishing their high school degree and associate's degree early. Thank you, TCC, thank you, Bill Coppola, for the outstanding work on this program. I can only imagine how the students of today will one day look back and reflect on your work, and also, of course, their AISD teacher who refused to accept mediocrity, also refused to accept that poverty is a destination or a permanent condition. As much as things have changed across the year, one thing remains the same, and that is the power of the classroom teacher. Championing dedicated teachers and administrators who regularly go the extra mile for our students is an absolute priority. It takes all of us in here, but it also takes an incredible AISD leader. If there is one thing that we can all agree that is right in education, it is Dr. Marcelo Cavazos. Dr. Cavazos has led our district transformation exceptionally well, always setting the bar highest for himself first and then for the entire district. The transformations I've highlighted, and they are just a sampling, could be a lifetime achievement for any education leader, but for Dr. Cavazos, it simply marks the beginning of his leadership. Remarkable. It is now my great pleasure to introduce the Texas School Alliance President, the Region 11 Superintendent of the Year, our favorite candidate for the Texas Superintendent of the Year, and our very own remarkable Arlington ISD Superintendent, Dr. Marcelo Cavazos.
Thank you so much, and boy, that's a very high standard that has been set. This is the time where you get to kind of relax a little bit. This is also the time where Dr. Coppola and Dr. Gabari get very nervous, and others in the audience get nervous because they don't know what I'm going to say about them. I have a theory that that's why you show up, is because you're not sure if I'm going to talk about you and commit you to something. But we're going to have a lot of commitments today, and first and foremost, a big thank you to you, our community, because we know that our work together is so much stronger for our students. And we don't do this by ourselves, and we've said that over and over. And so I'm honored that you took some time today to join us. So we'll start with our State of the District. I've got, as usual, more content than time, and so I will not take all the time, but I will certainly try to give you a perspective of what's happened in our school district this last year, what is happening today, and then what will happen in our future. And so we'll do a little past, present, and future, because I'm a teacher, so I have to tell you what we're going to do first. So we'll start with the State of the District slide that has our new strategic plan. And this was a strategic plan that's been adopted by our school board this past school year. And it's a 5-year strategic plan, Tony Hampa. 5 years. Okay, so not 3 years. I'm kidding with Tony, but I've already started. I should wait till we get into the presentation. But a 5-year strategic plan that will carry this district forward. We had a 3-year strategic plan, and very aggressive, very bold. The 5-year strategic plan is even more aggressive. And so we have our belief statements, and you can read those. I'm not going to read those to you, but one that I'd like to point out is that teaching and leadership are essential. That's still the guide of our success and for our young people, is teaching and leadership. And we know that many, many stakeholders came together in this strategic plan. And I can't cover all the detail, but we had thousands of people that were part of Arlington giving us feedback, students, teachers, community, business, etc. And then that last one, of course, that last bullet, all students can excel. Absolutely a priority for us. The vision is to become a premier school district and a leader in education. And we changed that a little bit from the previous strategic plan. And we inserted there to be a leader in education. And that just made it much more tangible, because we certainly know when we look around, whether it's the Metroplex or the state or the nation, we can certainly know when we're leading the effort in education, and you can also know and sense when you're not. And so we have a good, strong direction, and that leadership is becoming and continues to become apparent, but also it's a high standard that we're going to continue to pursue there. The mission of our strategic plan, in essence, stayed the same, because it still resounds with the things that we're doing and the programming that we have and the opportunities for our young people. And I'll just point that last line there, last 2 lines, through relevant, innovative, and rigorous learning experiences. That's how we accomplish our goals for young people. And so you'll see throughout this presentation, just to kind of preview, you'll see relevant, innovative, and rigorous learning experiences that we're developing and implementing in our school district. We have one goal. The last strategic plan had 11 goals. Yes, 11. And we kept track of them, and we accomplished those. The last plan was a lot about systems, and that's where our bond and our facilities and our competitive compensation and things like that, heavy on that work. This time we have one goal, that 100% of our students, and we still have the 100%, and I've shared that story before, and I won't go into too much detail other than to say that's our mark. That's where we take a stand, that we are not compromising anything less than 100%. We'll graduate exceptionally prepared for college, career, and citizenship. And we're very intentional about those three things: college, career, and citizenship. Because it's one thing to be prepared, and it's one thing to be prepared for the future, right? And to acquire those things that will help you financially and otherwise. Very important. It's a mainstay of our country. But we know that it's equally important to make sure you're a good citizen as you go into the world. That the acquisition of real goods is not the end. It's simply a means to make sure that you're contributing back to your country and your world. And so that's why we put citizenship there as one of our standards. We have 4 areas that we concentrate on: academic achievement, college readiness, workforce readiness, and leadership, citizenship, and responsibility. So those are the 4 pillars of what we're trying to accomplish with young people. Move right into our bond program. And our bond program, if you've driven around town, well, the potholes are the city. No, I'm kidding. That's a little joke. That's a little joke. I have to warm you up, right? So Trey also gets nervous, and he's very close, which is why we don't have any other microphone than one. Okay, but seriously, the construction belongs to us, right? And so, so we are very much in the construction in our bond program. And so, as Jamie said, pardon our dust and be patient as you come into our buildings and you drive around our buildings, because we are transforming this district not only in student opportunities and academics and things like that, very important, but also our facilities. So we have, as Jamie mentioned earlier, 90 projects that we're currently under construction. And 5, 10, 20, 30 maybe are enough, but 90 is quite enough for one, right? But you'll see the list of current construction projects. The MAC centers are under construction, and you see that list. I won't read that to you. This next one is Peach Elementary. And the next couple of slides, they're under construction, and we are right at the wire of completion, right? So if you have a little time after this, if you can help us, I'm kidding, to build it. No, it's a little joke. We won't put you to work. You're here to listen and have lunch. No, this is right down to the wire, and there's in full transparency, we are down to the wire for a number of reasons that we won't go into, because it's like you're pointing fingers and all that, and we don't want to do that. But for a number of reasons, it's down to the wire. But it will open. It will open. Or Cindy, if it will be in trouble. No, I'm kidding. She has her box. No, I'm kidding. No, she doesn't have a box. She said that. I didn't say that. But no, it will all be fine, and it'll open. I'll tell you that what we're doing in terms of pulling together in this project, and I'll next couple of slides the same thing, is teachers from other campuses are going to work Saturdays and Sundays to help the teachers at Peach Elementary unload for their classrooms and set things up and things like that. So that's outstanding. You know that this Peach Elementary will also have the Boys and Girls Club branch there. And so Steve Worm and group, thank you for your partnership there, because we know that everybody wins when we partner together. The next one is McNutt. And so McNutt Elementary is another elementary that we're, again, down to the wire. These pictures, were taken yesterday. And so, no, a long time ago. And so, don't worry, Jamie asked me yesterday, will it open? I said, of course it will. Of course it will. We'll be there. No, it will. And so here's the thing. So a lot of different reasons for delay, but the bottom line is this is an outstanding opportunity for our young people. And I point out McNutt and Peach and others, but let's talk about those two. To relieve overcrowding in Arlington, specifically East Arlington and Peach and North Arlington. And so we know that that's been a persistent issue in AISD. You know, again, no critique or anything, it's just the finances and otherwise. And so these are the final pieces to relieve East Arlington overcrowding and North Arlington overcrowding. This is Workman Junior High School. And this is the side looking from Arbrook. And so this is a big transformation for Workman Junior High School. It's a classroom addition. And so that is a facility that will serve junior high students in an exceptional way. So I do want to take some time to thank Kelly Horn, and he's in charge of all the facilities. Kelly, can you wave, just so they'll know who you are? And thank you, Kelly. If you wonder what it looks like if you haven't slept for a month, that's him right there. So you look like that. No, Kelly, thank you so much. I know you and your team are working really hard to make sure we're going to be on time. No pressure. All right. Corey Academy. So you see what you see here is Corey Academy, and that's in South Arlington. And Corey Academy is our dual language fine arts academy, right? And so you see a drama room, dance room, piano lab. Thank you for helping me. I can't see very well. And so this is an elementary school, in case you didn't know. This is not a junior high. It's not a high school. It's an elementary school where we have combined fine arts and language to provide an exceptional opportunity for students. And we've also provided transportation to this facility because we know that that could be a barrier for the students. And so we're making sure that students have access to outstanding facilities and a drive of excellence. This is Jones Academy, and so they're putting down the floor and stuff. They're recent pictures. This is a picture of our multipurpose activity center, and this happens to be the Arlington High School one. And you know that we are building a multipurpose activity center at each one of our high schools. And so this will be used for fine arts and athletics, outdoor sports, bringing them in. I remind you, because now that they're coming up and now that you see them across our high schools, it's a good time to remind everyone that this project, as good as it is and the outcomes it'll have for young people, it's part of an interdependent plan to relieve overcrowding in high schools, to increase the capacity, take programs outside of the high school and repurpose space. So it's to efficiently use our high school spaces. And so the alternative to that is build another high school or add on and things like that, specifically another high school, and that's not necessary because there's ways to relieve the use of the high schools and still have opportunities for young people. So I remind everyone when, because we talked about that, but sometimes when they come up, people forget about, well, why did you build these things? Well, we built them because it's an interdependent part of our project. All right, so this is our outdoor performing area at Jones Academy. And this is thanks to Texas Trust. And remember, we talked about this, I think, a little bit last year, that or maybe we announced it, that he was going to give us money. Jim, where are you, Jim? You're still in the room? Wave proud, Jim. Okay, yeah. So this is a rendition of our outdoor performing areas funded by Texas Trust because they believe in the vision of making sure students have the maximum opportunity. So when you see this at Jones Academy, you'll see also Texas Trust. And this is an opportunity for students to express themselves a different way, right? To express themselves in a different way, maybe not the written way, but more of a performance way, right? At elementary schools. And so this is under construction. This is a rendition drawing, right? So this is under construction. Jim has asked if he could sing when we open it. And we've told him, no, it's for the kids, Jim. It's for the kids. And so I haven't heard you sing, but I still think it's for the kids first. All right, so this is our Career Tech Center. This one is not scheduled to open in 2 weeks, so don't get scared. Okay? It's not scheduled. So if you're keeping track, this is opening a year from now. A year from now. So we just wanted to show you that we do start our projects early, and they're working. So this is in the intersection of 303 in New York, and so this will be our Career Tech Center. And the foundation is underway. The completion will be July of next year. Our agricultural center, AISD, and part of our bond, we have an ag center. And so this is a rendition of that. Also, we'll begin constructing this year and will open the fall of 17 in conjunction with our Career Tech Center. So if you notice that this has also solar panels, wind turbine, and water reclamation. And that's through the vision of our board and others who said that this can also be a learning opportunity for young kids, because this is to serve, obviously, our ag program. But it's really a district-wide facility. And so I'd like to take just a moment to thank everyone, DWG in particular, because this will be located in DWG, for their partnership and their effort to make sure, you can't take it, no, I'm kidding, to make sure that this project comes out as an outstanding sign of excellence that we expect. I also want to point out that we have a principal for our Career Tech Center who will also be overseeing the Ag Center, and that's Ginger Polster. Ginger, would you please wave or stand up? So Ginger is our newest principal for the Career Tech Center, and a year ahead of time. What a deal, right? What a deal. She is making preparation. We're going to talk about the partnerships that we're doing with our Career Tech Center, and Ginger is spearheading that. Not really part of our bond, but I think it was important to mention that as we talked about East Arlington overcrowding, that we're also, thanks to the board leadership, that we're also have a master plan implementation for Sam Houston High School. And so you know that over the years, we have right-sized our high schools. You've seen Lamar, Arlington High, et cetera, Martin High School, obviously further back. And so this is Sam Houston master plan, where we're adding cafeteria, career tech space, fine arts space, a new kitchen, to make sure, classrooms, to make sure that the students are served at Sam Houston High School in a facility that accommodates everyone. And so again, not part of the bond, the board funded that through our budget, and so that's also going to be under construction this school year. All right, so one thing I think is important as part of our bond is sometimes we get questions about our hub participation, historically underutilized businesses. And I'll tell you that our participation in this so far, because we're about halfway into the implementation of our bond, is right at 19% participation. And commitment is at 25%. You say, well, they've committed 25, but why is it 19? Well, we make sure that once we give someone credit for their commitment on Hub, that we hold them accountable. And so that's why you see, and it's unique sometimes to us, and you can see other entities and things like that, about once a commitment is made, what's actually the outcome. And so that's what we keep track of. And participation is tracked monthly, because we want to make sure that they honor their commitment. But in terms of Hub participation, we award extra points for their commitment to Hub. And so we're committed to the community to keep implementing our Hub strategy. And I think it's paying off really, really well, signs of just the commitment and the fact that we have some accountability tied to that. All right, so we have a dashboard of sorts. This is just a sample that is part of our keeping track of our bond. And so sometimes people ask, because it was, it's a $663 million bond, a lot of projects and things like that. And so how are we doing, and where are we on the bond, and when is my school going to be up, and things like that. So this is just a sample of fine arts, because we also have fine arts and security and technology as part of our bond. And I wanted to point this one out because this shows that we've had over 16% increase in participation in fine arts, over 16% participation through the implementation of instruments and things like that. So I want to recognize Jeremy Earnhardt, Dr. Earnhardt. He's our fine arts director and drove that vision. We have eliminated all the instrument fees completely. and uniform fees and things like that so that students can have access. And the results show that. So I'm very proud of it. So you have all of this information on our website. And so our website it's very robust, the bond section of our website. And so you can see the hub reports, you can see where we are, the tracking, the pictures, all of that on our website. And so I thank our communications department for really providing outstanding leadership and being a model for the state when we report our bond. All right, moving on to the next section. I talk about our district performance every year. And so this year, the state has been a little behind. If you've heard about STAR, it's not the stars up in the sky, it's a test, right? And so they've been behind. Tony Tinderholt and others, you know that, right? And so they've been, not to point you out, I'm sure there's Chris Turner, everybody else here, but gotta pick on somebody, right? So, oh yeah, there's a Connie Burton, yeah. And Bill Zettler, just for fun, right? So the state is behind. They've had some issues with the STAR test. They changed vendors with the implementation of the STAR test, so they're behind on the results. However, what they have sent, which are preliminary, and this is really not the usual preliminary we expect, but this is from our projections, and I'm very clear about the projections because we haven't received the official, albeit it's the reports from the state. But the scores have gone up on all 4 indices for AISD. Absolutely. The strongest growth is in closing the achievement gap, which is a big, important standard for us. And this year they put math back in there, and even with that, because sometimes math has a dampening effect, that's a nice way of saying that some people don't like math. I like math. But even with math, the scores have gone up, and we have positive gains at the high school level, which is really significant because that's your preparation, obviously, to finish high school, right? So I want to thank all the teachers and staff. And again, the reason I show you projections and every other year I show you the actual results is because, have I said that the state's behind? And so we're trying to work with them to make sure, and I've had good conversation with our new commissioner and encouraged him, and if he needs anything, that we're here to help him. And so we are. All right, so as a foundational view and kind of what we look at in our district, and you've seen this slide every time, and it's a good reminder, that what drives our work is access, excellence, and innovation. Access is critically important for our school district. Over 70% of our students are economically disadvantaged. You have to have a pillar and a drive and a focus on access, because otherwise some students are left out. It's just that simple. But it can't be access alone. They can't just get opportunities. They have to be successful. And so we drive excellence. And excellence is meaning that we don't lower standards, we raise standards. And we keep excellence K-12, pre-K-12, sorry, there's pre-K people here. Pre-K, yeah, there's one. I'm not sure how she got in. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, I invited her actually, so. Oh boy, it's coffee, that's what it is. All right. Innovation and designing new and unique opportunities for our students. So we have to be innovative about the work that we do. So the next slides, you're going to see, hopefully, those 3 things really prominent. So speaking of pre-K, oh, she didn't say it too loud this time. Speaking of pre-K, so this is our pre-K program that I want to highlight because it really is access, excellence, and innovation. Right? It really is access. It drives access. And so we have in our district a public-private partnership, a very robust public-private partnership, where we send teachers to private daycares to provide instruction. And those daycares then recruit the students, right? And so we have 20 of those sites across our district, making sure that students have access to pre-K. And also, in those community sites, they provide the space, they have to meet certain standards, and then we'll send the classroom teacher. And so I want to thank publicly Judge Whitley for his leadership. Where are you, Judge? thank you, for your leadership and your support in the pre-K effort. It's been something that you've been very concerned about, and if you know Judge Whitley, when he's concerned about something, he does something about it, right? And so he's been concerned about pre-K and the dollars that go to not Head Starts, but the daycares, right? And so we visited about if we provide the teachers like we do in Arlington, and that can be a model for others. That's how you drive excellence. That's how you drive making sure that students and the outcomes are where they need to be. I do want to highlight Pam, because it's in here, Pam. You actually were part of this. Our pre-K teacher at Patrick Elementary, Pam, so would you wave? She's an outstanding example. There you go. She's an outstanding example of pre-K and pre-K teachers. And if you have ever dealt with pre-K students, thank Pam, right? Because she deals with them all the time, and she loves her work, and she's a big supporter of the things that we're trying to do in pre-K, and she's a model of that classroom that we want and that engagement. So thank you, Pam, for joining us and being part of the pre-K program. So, elementary gifted and talented. If you've noticed, this is not a slide that we've talked about before, and for good reason. It's one of those areas that we continued in the past to continue to plan and find the right strategy, because it's so important. Well, I'm happy to announce, and that's why it's here, that we have a huge initiative to serve our elementary gifted and talented students in Arlington. Their service is going to be linked to classroom teachers hired specifically to serve gifted and talented students, to differentiate that instruction that we know is important. And so how is that important in terms of our entire system when you talk about elementary gifted and talented? It's important because that's the foundation. And that's the feedback we get, along with a lot of other feedback, but we get feedback about the gifted program for our students in elementary schools. We know secondary schools and all the opportunities, and we talked about them here before, but elementary gifted and talented, the foundation is extremely important. So we've hired teachers, thanks to the board, again, leadership and budget. We've hired teachers to work with the gifted and talented students, and we're implementing that in different phases to make sure that we do it right with excellence. So back to access, excellence, and innovation. So we also have UTA degree pathways that we're working with UTA to create a seamless transition from our system to the university. And it is much easier said than done. Much easier said than done. Well, in Arlington, because we're blessed to have UTA and TCC and AISD, we are solving that problem. We're solving that challenge. And so the concept is pretty simple, but usually simple concepts are very difficult to implement, and that's what we have faced across the state, not in Arlington. But the concept is simple. When you're in high school and you're prepared to pursue your degree, you shouldn't have to wait till you graduate from high school to pursue your degree. It's that simple. You want to be an engineer, and you're ready to start working on that in high school, start working on it. And not an elective here or a dual credit, which there's nothing against dual credit, but a focused, if you're ready to start your degree, then start it. And we've worked with UTA to make sure that these students sign their degree plans so that those courses remain stable. I think the tuition rate will remain stable. Is that right, Vista? Yeah? So, no, he said yes, and so if somebody's working the camera, make sure you get him. But making sure that the students start to sign that degree plan in high school. There's no reason to wait. There's no reason to make this complicated. Let them get going. And so we've identified 7 degree plans where UTA has tremendous strength that we should leverage. And the first standard is if students want to go to UTA. And if they do, and they've made that decision with their families, then let's get them working. Teacher Academy, it's another program we announced this year. Oftentimes, we hear, and I hear, and this was kind of one of those intuitive things with this program, but we hear that students need to get industry experience and industry input, and they need to be in the industry that they're going to be in, and that's where they need to work and things like that to prepare. Well, guess what? we have 4,500 teachers. So this is the industry, right? So we started with UTA, a teacher academy, that says very simply, you want to be a classroom teacher, start with our foundational courses of Ready, Set, Teach, and then start taking the education courses at UTA before you graduate from high school. And then come back and work for us. Because that's the pipeline. We always talk about influencing the pipeline. Well, we need teachers, right? And so we need them every year. And so this is an excellent opportunity to make it very tangible for students. And they'll start their education coursework while in high school. All right, back to our Career Tech Center just for a little bit. We have a unique partnership with TCC. And that's why, you've seen the people that are here from TCC. So thank you for coming, Bill. He's holding on. So at our Career Tech Center, you can read that list. But what is significant about this is that students will have access to technical dual credit. They'll receive stackable credentials, which means that once you take courses there, it should transfer. And we left the should out and just say it will transfer. And learning days will include evenings, weekends, and summers. This facility, and we presented this to the board a couple of weeks ago, this facility will be open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. to maximize the use of our facility and the opportunity for our students in our community. And so that last bullet sometimes makes people a little nervous, but we're going to mix and combine AISD and TCC students to maximize their choices and their opportunities. So what does that mean? It means that if we have a student in high school and their brother has graduated, or their parent wants to take courses from TCC, we'll take them here. Take them at the Career Tech Center. You know that TCC has 5 campuses. Is it 6? Thank you, Bill. That's why he's a good person. 6 campuses, and they don't duplicate their programs. And so we're consolidating those programs here. From those 5 campuses, 6 campuses. You added one recently. Okay, so from those 6 campuses, we're combining them here so that there's access. But who is this access for? Not just for our students. It's access for our community. And I think working with the city and others, this is an opportunity to change our community, give them access to education and the workforce, and we're opening our doors. Because that's how important we know that our role in this community is. Thank you. So I want to talk about, very quickly, one of these programs that we're going to have at the Career Tech Center. And it's an automotive tech program. So you remember, we used to have, a long time ago, if you've been around, an automotive tech program. And again, it went away, and it's time to bring it back, and bring it back with high degree of participation and excellence. And so I highlight this one. There's plenty of programs, but I highlight this one because this is going to be one of those unique opportunities for students to gain a skill and go into the workforce, right? And so I was glad to see that Moritz, Mr. Moritz, John David Moritz, joined us today. He's nervous. And I walked into his table, just to be nice, and I told him about the automotive tech program, and he seemed very interested, very interested. And so I told him that this is going to be outstanding, et cetera. So we made some adjustments. I talked to Leslie, communications, and this came up, right? So, right? I mean, what could go wrong, right? John David hadn't been to one of these events, so thank you, and Mr. Cavender, thank you for being here too. And so I thought, well, we talk about partnerships, let's just put it up on the screen. Yeah. And so, close the exit. No, I'm kidding. Actually, John David Moritz has agreed, not today, we have been talking about this. So nobody's going to talk to me anymore, right? To create the Moritz Automotive Technology Program that they will fund. So it's a vision to provide world-class automotive technology opportunities. They are funding all of the resources, the equipment, the lifts, the student needs, the resources, the tools. Moritz is funding all of that for this program. And so they're also, which is very, very significant, the funding of the resources is absolutely critical. But that third bullet is the one that really drives at our passion. And that third bullet says that Moritz will advise in the recommendation of equipment and curriculum. Because that, John David made it a point to say that he would like some input in the way we're teaching these classes. Thank you. That's exactly what we want. Resources and input. Thank you, John David. CTE certifications, just to give you a perspective, and I'm going to move quickly. 1,866 certifications were earned this last school year. And I'll give you a perspective. In 2013, 2014, 681. This has grown exponentially. And why? Because there's been a commitment by our district, by our teachers, by our students, our community, to make sure that this is at the forefront. So thank you so much for that. We know that internships are important. And this is one of our interns. And internships are, you heard him earlier from Michael at the chamber. They've stepped up with over 200, okay, 160? 170, okay, it's growing. 170 internship opportunities for our young people. Because it's that important for our young people to be out in the community, developing their skill, and making sure that they understand what the industry expects after they graduate from high school. I can't leave this kind of information out, so I'm going to do it in a bundle. This is our second year of some programs, and our third year for one of them. So very quickly, our second year for Fine Arts Dual Language. Again, outstanding implementation of the work that's happening there. Our second year for our STEM Academy, in partnership with UTA. And our third year for Early College High School. And so we know that those programs are transforming lives. But more than that, they're leading the way in our transformation in our school district. And speaking of fine arts, this is outstanding. Our fine arts program in Arlington is simply outstanding. Best in the nation in Arlington. Martin High School has been selected 3 years in a row to present and be part of the TMEA honor group, Texas Music Educators Association. It's my feeling that it should be the Arlington Music Educators Association, don't you think? Because they've always selected 3 years in a row, and that's a very high standard. They were invited to participate at Carnegie Hall and actually perform at Carnegie Hall, right? And Michael Stringer, where are you, Michael? He's the orchestra director. Would you stand up, Michael? And Michael, he had to go to New York. It's a rough trip, wasn't it, Michael? Yeah. Actually, it was a lot of preparation, and we thank you for your commitment, Michael, to our school district. We have some other unique opportunities that I'm just going to have to just kind of give a thumbnail sketch, but I thought you should know that we have a district-wide archery program in AISD, leading the way. These students have made it to national competitions. We're one of few districts that has the archery program. And then we have a bass fishing club. Yeah, you didn't know that, right? Yeah, bass fishing club. And the reason I highlight these is because they came about, these are just two, but they came about because teachers, the primary caregivers for our students, the teachers felt empowered, felt they had the autonomy to be creative, to be innovative, to serve our students in unique ways, and they came up with these programs. These are things that they've presented to us and leadership in their school that they want to pursue. Hundreds of students taking advantage of these programs thanks to our wonderful teachers and coaches. One of the partnerships that I want to highlight is the partnership we have with the Dallas Cowboys. And so I had to bundle that up just for the interest of time here. And so what you see is Back to School Fair, which will be happening August 13th, and you can still volunteer. 12,000 backpacks full of supplies will be handed out to AISD students, thanks to the generosity of the Dallas Cowboys. And they've opened their stadium and their plaza area so that we can host this back-to-school event. Again, a drive of excellence, but also access for our community. Because where else can you hand out 12,000 backpacks but in the kind of the world premier stadium? And what a partnership. The other one deals with our art students, and that's in the corner there. Every fifth grader had the opportunity to go and tour the stadium's artwork. And if you haven't toured the stadium's artwork, which I had not until I joined one of the fifth grade tours, it is simply outstanding. Their drive of excellence and premier and world art is just amazing. Every fifth grader had the opportunity to do that because the Cowboys paid for all that access. And they went beyond that. They also provided and reimbursed. We didn't ask for this, but don't tell them. They reimbursed our transportation because we would bus the kids from our elementary. We have 50 plus elementary schools. And they reimbursed all the transportation. And they had art docents and volunteers in small groups touring the students through their artwork, through the Cowboys artwork. One of them was Jason Garrett's wife, who volunteered and was touring the kids. And so at the end of that, once all the fifth graders had gone through that, and we did it part of our curriculum, then they hosted an event where every school could display one piece of artwork at the stadium. And they couldn't just set it up any way they want to. They had their own kind of expertise about how they wanted our artwork set up. So the students and teachers got to experience that, about how you get ready for a gallery show. And so some of the artwork that you see around this room, that's what our school and our fifth graders, some of what they displayed at the stadium, at AT&T Stadium. And so, yeah. And then the top slide is our newest program, Inside Out Initiative Character Education Program, where the Cowboys have funded AISD's, a grant to AISD to launch this coaching strategy with our young people. And this strategy and this coaching program says that it's more important to have character than to win. And that's a tough message. That cuts against the grain. There's a lot of challenge in that message penetrating to our young people and our coaches. Just the way it is. But they've stepped up and they've partnered with the AISD on this curriculum, and all our coaches, our secondary coaches, are implementing this year to make that a point. And I want to highlight Kevin Ozzie, our athletic director, for his leadership in this area, because as athletic director, in a very competitive, winning school district, to say to the coaches and take leadership and say it's more important to have character than it is to win. That is a bold step. So Kevin Ozzie, let's give him a round of applause. Oh boy. This was not put in here to scare anybody. It is a legislative year, and I bring that up for a lot of reasons, but I won't go into all of them. But I do want to share with everyone that it's really important, and our representatives and our state senator, thank you for being here. It's really important to pay attention about what happens in our state legislature. And so we have had an opportunity, and I thank them, to visit one-on-one during the session, off session. Here's our legislative agenda and all that sort of thing. We've had very good opportunities to meet and discuss what we expect and what we want in our legislative session. And so that being said, we just want to continue to make sure we understand that we want more flexibility and some relief from unfunded mandates. Those are really important. And some of our delegation very, very concerned about our unfunded mandates and have taken bold steps to try to help on that. I also want to point out that it's really important, and you know, this word, these two words, local control, right? Local control, you know, becomes now something that is just said, and there's different definitions and all that kind of stuff, right? And so without getting into too much, technicality of local control and what it means for school districts and cities and otherwise, I would just share in a very positive way that this today and what you're seeing today is a demonstration of local control, right? Because the partnerships, the UTA, the TCC, we're not waiting, and this is not a critique, it's actually a compliment. We're not waiting for, let's pass this bill so we can start a partnership with UTA. We're finding ways to do that with existing laws. But local control in a community, this is what it looks like. So I thank our representatives and our senator for serving. I know it's a thankless job. I know about thankless jobs sometimes, but I thank you so much, and just keeping that in mind, and we will be very active, as we always are, with our legislative year. So thank them. We just give them a round of applause. All right, we're getting close to the end, so don't worry. Emerging Leaders Program. I just want to take a few minutes, or seconds actually, to talk about our Emerging Leaders Program, because we talked about it probably 2 years ago. And I just want to share with you the type of momentum and the dominoes that start coming together and falling in a way that is really positive for a school district and for our employees. And so our Emerging Leaders Program, it's a cohort of individuals who want and are aspiring to be either an assistant principal or they're aspiring to be a principal. And so they go through this intensive training that they do throughout the year. It's on their own time. They still have their job that they're supposed to do, and they do. The classes are after work. And they have a lot of activities. And so remember, these individuals have already received a degree, but they're trying to sharpen their competitive edge in getting a job in Arlington. And so we launched this, and we've had 64 participants in 2 years. And it's impacted over 17,500 students because of the people that have participated. And if you look at the corner there of the slide, Raise Your Hand Texas started this and helped seed this with $1.3 million. Then came the Meadows Foundation. Then the National Association of Secondary School Principals. Then the Sid Richardson Foundation. And then the Rainwater Foundation. Making sure, because they've read, and this is not a hard sell, the data speaks for itself, making sure that this is sustained in Arlington and becomes a model for the nation. So I want to take a moment to thank Pete Guerin. Where are you, Pete? Thank you so much. Pete is one of our strongest supporters and has funded the sustainability of this. And so Pete and I met and discussed this program and what it's doing for young people, and the courage that it takes individuals to participate in this, and the courage it takes to say that I'm going to refine my skill and I'm not going to expect to be an administrator. I'm just going to go compete, right? And so one of those that's here today, an emerging leader who went through Emerging Leaders, is Selena, and she's our principal at Reminzi Elementary. Selena, would you stand up? And so this is an example, leading a campus. She went in through it as an assistant principal. So thank you for your hard work. As part of our leadership development, we're making sure that we recognize our fine leaders that we have in our district. And so this year we started our Principals of the Year. And we selected a secondary and an elementary. And without going into too much detail, it was a very rigorous process that included campus visits and all that. I thank our staff that put that together. And so the winners are Mr. Sam Nix from secondary, Seguin High School. Sam, where are you? Stand up, Sam. And our elementary is Dr. Connie Spence from Cookin Elementary. Where are you, Connie? So thank you for your leadership, and they demonstrate what leadership can be in Arlington ISD. But just wanted to take a brief moment to remind and continue to emphasize the fact that it takes all of us. And today I want to highlight 3 parents that began a program on their own because they saw a need to help other parents while their kids went to school, and making sure that they had the skills necessary to be able to help their kids. And this is the Mamás empoderando mamás. And what that means is mothers empowering mothers. And we know, and I'll just speak for myself, but we all know this, that the mother has the biggest influence in the success of a young person. The mother's influence is huge. And so, Christy Beltran, Berta Torres, and Maria Villegas, for starting this program, would you please stand up? And the courage it takes to say, we're going to start this, we're going to teach. We invited them to Parent University. They held their own classes for parents. They always draw a big crowd. And their voice in what should be done in education for young people and our own responsibility for education is huge. And they don't ask for anything at all. They simply want to give back to the community. And so I thank them very, very sincerely. I'll wrap up by saying that, you know, we have a lot of opportunities and a lot of good news in Arlington ISD. And I want to remind everyone, I reminded this to the coaches and our leadership, that we have the biggest opportunity to influence this world. When you hear bad news and sad stories across the world, sometimes people come to me and they say, I feel helpless, right? And without any reservation, I say, I don't feel helpless. Because we live in Arlington, and we're educators, and we have a great community, and we shape the trajectory of our future. It's not left to chance, it's left to us. It's left to us to be bold enough to say that we want a certain world, and we're gonna do all these things together to make sure we have the world we want. And so, no, I don't feel helpless, and none of us should feel helpless. We should feel empowered to change the world for young people. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. We have a community engagement partner of the year, very quickly. And they don't know that they're going to get this. But the community partner of the year is our Boys and Girls Club, Mr. Steve Worm. Come on over, Steve. As you heard, the Boys and Girls Club, they're building a branch in Peach Elementary. Steve has been outstanding, and your whole organization, and your drive and your passion is extremely aligned with what we're trying to accomplish. And so you are a great partner, and we love the fact that you're going to be in one of our schools serving our students together. Steve Worm, Boys and Girls Club.
All right, I'm going to be really, really brief. I really appreciate that, Dr. Cavazos, Jamie Sullins. You know, as the mayor says, I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, the flywheel is turning in Arlington. Momentum is so exciting. There's so many good things going on. It really is awe-inspiring. We say our future is bright, and I absolutely believe that the future of Arlington is incredibly bright. But to accomplish our full potential, that really rests in the hands of those who are responsible for cultivating our most valuable asset, and that's our human capital. And after hearing what we've heard today, I'm sure you'll all join me and agree that the future of Arlington is in really good hands. Thank you all. Have a great weekend.